I never imagined I'd hear the words that slipped from my wife's mouth that night. We were sitting in the living room, the television murmuring in the background, when she suddenly turned to me and said, with a voice colder than ice, "I can't stand being with you." For a second, I forgot how to breathe. It felt like the walls were caving in on me. Years filled with laughter, affection, and shared sacrifices collapsed into a single sentence that cut deeper than any blade ever could. I didn't fight back. I didn't ask her why. Maybe she expected me to scream, to break down, or to plead for her not to leave. Instead, I rose quietly, walked into our bedroom, and pulled out my suitcase. My hands shook as I folded shirts, ties, and the small things that had once made this place feel like a home. With each item I packed, it felt as though I was collecting the pieces of a life she had already thrown away. She stood by the doorway, watching. At first, her expression carried a smug kind of triumph, as though she had finally shattered me. But as the suitcase filled and I tugged the zipper shut, her face shifted. Her eyes flickered with unease, like she hadn't really believed I would walk out. Maybe it was just a cruel test. Or maybe she assumed I was too broken, too weak to actually leave. "Where are you going?" she finally asked, her voice slicing through the silence. I didn't answer immediately. I carried the suitcase to the front door, my heart beat loud in my chest. For years, I had poured everything into her. My love, my time, my dreams. In return, she had seen me as someone to belittle, someone unworthy. But tonight, for the first time, I chose myself. I paused at the door, turned to face her and said softly, "You told me you hated being with me. I won't make you live a lie anymore." Her face drained of color, the confidence slipping away like sand through fingers. Suddenly, she didn't look like the woman who had crushed me minutes ago. She looked frightened. "Wait," she blurted out, rushing toward me. "I didn't mean it like that." Her voice trembled as she reached for my arm, but I stepped back. The panic in her eyes told me everything. She realized her cruelty had pushed me further than she ever intended. She had wanted a reaction, but not this. Not me quietly walking out. The priceless part wasn't her fear, nor the tears that started to roll down her cheeks as she begged me to stay. It was the regret etched across her face, the sudden understanding that she had taken my love for granted for far too long. That night, she learned a painful truth. Love isn't a game, and words spoken in anger cannot be taken back. I stood there, torn between the years we shared and the betrayal her words had carved into me. Then, I smiled faintly, not from happiness, but from strength. For the first time, I wasn't the broken man she thought she could control. I was free. When the door shut behind me, her sobs still echoed down the hallway. She had wanted to wound me, to test the limits of my patience. Instead, she lost the man who had loved her more deeply than anyone ever would. And as I walked into the night, I understood one thing with absolute certainty. The most powerful revenge isn't anger, nor bitterness. It's silence and leaving with dignity. That was the night she discovered the worth of love far too late.